Hi, and welcome to Castanet's Week in Review. I'm Nich Johansen with your top stories from this week. A man was arrested in downtown Kelowna Friday afternoon after a scary standoff with police lasted more than an hour. Police were called to the downtown marina at about 1:30 p.m. for a report of a man waving around a large knife. The RCMP emergency response team, along with the crisis negotiation team, spoke with the man until about 3 p.m. as he held the knife to his own neck and stomach. Finally, police shot the man with a beanbag gun, and a police dog took him down. The knife was taken from him, and he was taken away in handcuffs. It's unclear what motivated the incident, or if charges will be laid. A police standoff also took place in Penticton Wednesday, following an armed robbery on Winnipeg Street, in which a gun was fired. Following the robbery, police swarmed a townhouse on the corner of Maple Street and Birch Avenue, and spent several hours on a bullhorn trying to get the man to surrender peacefully. After more than 2 hours, several people had been taken from the scene in handcuffs, and on Thursday, Joseph Bretislav Pavlik and Jesse Eldon Harry Mason were charged in the robbery. The city of Vernon must rehire a fire captain they had fired in March 2018 for having a brief episode of consensual sexual activity in the fire chief's office, which was caught by a surveillance camera. The Labor Relations Board recently shot down the city's appeal and ruled they could not fire Captain Brent Bond, deeming it too harsh a punishment. The board decided a 3-year temporary demotion to a regular firefighter was appropriate, along with a 5-month suspension. An Enderby teenager is facing charges after he allegedly made multiple online bomb threats against a Montreal airport over a period of more than a month. North Okanagan RCMP arrested the 16-year-old at his home after they were notified of the threats against Pierre Elliott Trudeau Airport by Montreal authorities. It's unclear on what platform the threats were made or in what context they were made. The teen is facing possible charges in relation to conveying false messaging and harassing communications. The 39th annual Okanagan Fall Wine Festival kicked off this week with the Lieutenant Governor's Wine Awards at Kelowna's Laurel Packing House Thursday night. The 2-week event celebrates reds and whites across the Okanagan, with unique events held at different wineries. The main event of the festival, the WestJet wine tasting, took over the Carson Air Hangar at Wild W Saturday night. That's it for this week's Week in Review. For Castanet News, I'm Nich Johansen.